Good evening. My name is Justin Peterson. Do you know what the biggest event in the NFL postseason is? It's the draft. The draft gives franchises an opportunity to put young talent onto their football teams. The draft is very highly viewed on television, and last year they had an estimated 36.7 million viewers. As you can see on this table here, ESPN, ESPN2, and the NFL Network make up almost a quarter of those viewers. Now, the way the draft works is they have to put picks in the order. The team that won the Super Bowl last year automatically gets the last pick, and the team that lost the Super Bowl last year gets the second to last pick. From then on, they go by regular season record. So the team who had the worst regular season record gets the first pick, and so on. Now, there tend to be tiebreakers almost every year, which I mean by that, teams have tied records. So, for example, if two teams have the same record, and one of the teams made it to the playoffs, and the other team didn't make it to the playoffs, the team that didn't make it to the playoffs gets to pick before the other team. If two teams have the same record, and neither of them made it to the playoffs, then they look at who has the harder schedule next season. If they can't determine it that way, they look at which team did worse in their division. And if they can't figure it out that way, then they look at which team did worse in the conference. Now, entering the draft, almost all players that enter the draft came straight from college. There are generally about 50 college players every year who enter the draft that are guaranteed a spot on a football team. According to Moondog Sports, there were 50 players exactly who were early draft prospects and made it onto a team. Now, you don't necessarily have to have played in college to be on a football team, but you have to have at least been out of high school for 3 years. And the only player I know of that didn't go to college that plays in the NFL today is San Diego Chargers tight end Antonio Gates. A player entering the draft must sign an agent, so then the agent can negotiate a contract with that team that picks him. Now, the way that draft works is each team gets to pick one player per round. And there are 7 rounds in the NFL draft. And the NFL draft tends to go for a very long time. Alright. What happens before the draft is teams can trade players for draft picks too. So let's say, for example, a team traded one of their wide receivers away for, let's say, a first and second round draft pick. Then the team that gets those draft picks will get 2 picks in the first round and then 2 picks in the second round. Now, players that are picked by a team get their uniform and number. Now, a player can get picked by a team, but they don't necessarily have to play for that team. They do have 3 options. They can, 1, either demand a trade right on the spot, which rarely ever happens. 2, they can do what is referred to as a holdout, where they don't necessarily decide not to play for the team, but they don't play for the team until they settle on a contract agreement. Or 3, the player can just choose not to play for that team at all and re-enter the draft the following year. Now, after the draft, the player's agent and the team negotiate a contract. A player can reject the contract and just decide not to play for the team and re-enter the draft last year if they want to do that. According to Vic Sports and Sports Business Digest, on average, rookie contracts are about 5 to 6 years, and they're guaranteed about $20 million. If a player agrees to all of the negotiations for the contract, then they play for the team. That's it.